The United States Consulate General in Nigeria and the Performing Musicians Employers Association of Nigeria, PMAN, joined forces to give a rousing welcome to two Voice of America personalities, Leo Shakisian and Rita Rochelle, presenter and producer of Music Time in Africa, the longest running program on the Voice of America. Indeed, no effort was spared to give the two international broadcasters a good time in the traditional Nigerian fashion. The residence of the Consul General, Mrs. Robin Hyson-Jones, was a beehive of activities, with all the notable faces in all the facets of the society in attendance. Entertainers, actors and actresses, music promoters, members of the diplomatic corps, the banking industry, and all of that were on. In fact, the occasion provided a perfect blend for networking. Leo and Rita couldn't have asked for anything greater than this. It was a real spectacular welcome befitting of the hero and heroine they are. Call it a musical tribute to the colossus of the broadcasting firmament and Africa's music ambassadors, you'll be damn right. And all Nigerian musicians worthy of their salt registered their presence on stage to pay homage to Rita and Leo, who have been championing the cause of Africa's music through their program. The packaging of the event was very tight and all the performers gave off their best that night. From Stella Monye, Uncle P, Dede Mabiaku, Adewale Ayuba, Lady D, 77-year-old Fatah Rolling Dollar, Momo G, who came straight from Port Harcourt, the Garden City for the show, Ara, who just came back from a successful tour of the United States and a performance only last week with Stevie Wonder and the President of Ghana in attendance. Also on stage was Tunde Kuboye's extended family band, featuring his daughter, tall, gangling and beautiful Demilade Kuboye. Demilade, who is a split image of our late mother Frances Kuboye, is sure on the right track to stepping into her large and inimitable shoes. Little Jessica Oris Wuliki, and daughter of Oris and Becky Wuliki, stole the show. She was on her feet all along, dancing away, and she was the toast of everybody. To lovers of African music throughout the world, especially on the continent of Africa, Leo Shakisian, also known as the Music Man, is a household name. Leo, at 83, is today the oldest broadcaster at the Voice of America, next perhaps to Alistair Cook of BBC Letter from America fame, who passed on recently at the age of 95. Authentic audience research indicate that Leo, who is a Massachusetts native of Armenian ancestry, receives almost on an hourly basis hundreds of thousands of emails, letters and phone calls from fans all over the world on his radio show Music Time in Africa, which is the longest running program on the Voice of America today. Leo Shakisian, who is a multi-talented artist, musician and broadcaster, has been traveling throughout Africa since 1963, recording music for his show on the Voice of America. According to him, he believes in preserving traditional African music. Leo blends African and American musical taste. To Leo's eternal credit is a library collection of African music numbering 11,000 10-inch audio reel tape recordings of African and continental treasure, to which countless African countries contribute. Here is Leo to talk about his passion for African music.
I think that Rita and I have accomplished what we came for.
Yes.
And that was to fire everybody up, to realize that there's a big place for that African music is alive, and it will continue, and it will get bigger. And an organization like PMAN, I must mention this, because I was here in '83 when it was organized. And PMAN has now grown. It's different now.
30,000 members, Leo.
It has grown, and the challenge, of course, they have, now this is the work for them. They've got the challenge in front of them, but I think they will succeed with the people that we met who are directing PMAN. Every one of them's got that enthusiasm that I saw. Thank God, because they're going to get bigger and bigger, and it's the solution to this whole, we mentioned problems today during the conference, the whole solution of getting better and bigger and more attention is the media and the press. They have to work together with PMAN and bring to the attention of the people who are responsible that African music is alive, and let's be African.
Another popular Voice of America personality who has the awesome record as the longest serving hostess of the Music Time in Africa show is drop-dead beauty and intelligent Rita Rochelle. Rita, who is committed to enhancing better understanding among people around the world, says she finds her job spiritually rejuvenating because music establishes the global ties of all mankind. Rita Rochelle is from St. Louis, Missouri, and the oldest of 7 children. She was educated in Fountain College in St. Louis, where she majored in theater and French. She also did radio and television. She had served as a staff of Senator Kennedy before joining Voice of America. Rita met VOA's Leo Sarkisian in 1978 when she began to host the popular Music Time in Africa show, which she's been doing for 26 years now. Although she also has her own music show on Voice of America, the Africa service. Now, what does Rita say about the challenges of presenting the show? She also has a word for Africans who prefer African music to their own music.
What we experienced in terms of authentic, traditional, and popular African music, you just can't beat it. It was the most awesome experience I've had. It's one thing to be behind the microphone and read Leo's script because he does an awful lot of research. After 50 years of working on the continent, we have one of the largest collections, I would venture to say the largest collection of African music anywhere in the world. 11,000 reels of just reel-to-reel tapes alone. That doesn't even include the LPs and the 45s and the intensive interviews that he did and deep into the interior, not just coming to the big cities, but going into the hinterlands of the real Nigeria, the real Cameroon, the real Egypt, South Africa. He's touched every single country on the continent. So for me, as an African American, it's a joy to work with African music because we're imitating you in our rock and roll and gospel and jazz and rhythm and blues and soul. We're just taking from you what was part of us before we were taken abroad on slave ships. And what I'm seeing now is a little bit of a reverse on that. You know, there's a lot of African imitation of American music, and I'm a little disappointed because the authentic African music is so awesome, so beautiful. You saw that. There's nothing that can beat that. Everybody's imitating you, so don't imitate us. It's a sin to come to Africa, 70-75% American music on the radio. You're not going to hear African music in that proportion in America. You won't hear it like that in China or Russia or Australia. Africa has something so unique. I'd venture to say it's worth as much as the oil in your soil, as the gold in Ghana, as the diamonds, as every natural resource that you have. Music and culture and arts have to be preserved. And that's our message. Get it into the schools. Allow the children at 4, 5, and 6 to start learning it and make it a part of the curriculum so that they get so, yes! When you teach a child, then it's there for another generation.